Okay, so yeah, so this was the Insta drop instant repeater. Okay, I could go one further this way, maybe. Yeah, why not? Oh yeah, actually I did start a bit back, didn't I? Because I had the just a regular piston repeater here. Okay, so we're going to do the other one now, and that is the dust cut. So let's try that. I'll start back here. Here we go. Okay. You. Okay. I still find this fact funny. Because if I did it, see, that's funny. The order of the placement there is key, isn't it? But anyway, that was something that I worked out when I was doing that one last time. Okay, so yeah. So the thing about this one is, so let me just check this. It says the space under the first piston prevents the block of redstone from activating its own piston. Interesting. Anyway, put a sandstone here. And yeah. Repeater. I think that might be on 2 ticks. I think that's a 2-tick one. I'm pretty sure it is a 2-tick one. I think I'm trying to remember the. Yeah, and it's on the same level as this block here. This has got this here. Okay. It goes into here, which goes into here. And this goes like that. And then we're back at the same level here. And that's it. If I place the block correctly, that is. Let me just check that looks correct. So we go there, we go up one, up another. Okay, so let's start with the rising edge. It says, when the input turns on, the lower sticky piston begins to extend, causing the upper sticky piston to retract, allowing the powered redstone dust below block A to connect to the output. So that's pretty straightforward. This is going to extend, this is going to retract and connect to the output. And of course that happens instantly. Very, very similar to this sort of thing. All of this happens instantly in the same redstone tick, allowing a rising edge to pass through the circuit with no delay. The moving block of redstone also instantly depowers the dust below it. Yep. I've seen this already, but by the time that turns off the repeater's output, the block of redstone has arrived to continue powering the output. So again, this is a similar sort of thing that I was a little bit confused about with the one-wire instant inverter. It's seemingly saying that obviously it's saying something like the repeater has to, those 2 ticks of the repeater are crucial because of the length of the piston to extend. It must be not getting a signal, so those 2 ticks where it's getting the power through because of course when this retracts and the signal goes all the way through, yeah, I mean, I guess what it's trying to say really is that there is no signal coming in from it, right? So while this piston is basically, all it's really saying is while the piston is extending, it's in that sort of transient state, isn't it, where it's not powering the output. So yeah, because that's the thing. I think it's trying to say that the signal would probably get through the instant signal, but because this is a repeater, it needs to be a constant signal, doesn't it? So it would probably get like that zero tick pulse of, like, you know, of the tiniest possible length. But of course, while this piston block is while this redstone block is travelling, it needs that little it needs those 2 ticks of extra time before the piston block arrives. Yeah, and that's why you never really see anything here. Okay, yeah. To be honest, this is pretty straightforward at this point. I'm kind of getting it. Behavior falling edge. When the input turns off, the lower sticky piston begins retracting the block of redstone, immediately cutting off power to the output, effectively allowing the falling edge to pass through the circuit with no delay. Yeah. The block of redstone then arrives at its retracted state and tries to power the output dust again. The block of redstone then arrives at its retracted state and tries to power the output dust again. So it's going to be over, yeah, it's going to be here. But it also powers the piston above it, which is going to block off the signal, isn't it? So it will arrive in its retracted state immediately. This is interesting. It arrives in its retracted state immediately. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, what it's saying, right, is I've got it. It retracts this, and so it's gonna start power. So it retracts immediately. It starts powering this. This takes 2 ticks. So 2 ticks later, this is coming through. But by the time it's retracted, it's powered this. This is extended in 1.5 and blocked it off, basically. Yeah, I think that's basic. The block of redstone arrives at its retracted state and tries to power the output dust again, but also powers the piston above it, and block A arrives to cut the output before the repeater can output the signal from the block of redstone. Yeah, I've got it exactly now. So you need. This is why you can see the crucial. Yeah, I kind of see how crucial it is now. Okay, I think there's actually. Let's just put this down. Dust cut instant repeater. I'm just going to have a brief look and see if there's a couple more things I can do with this. Yeah, dust cut instant repeater. So there was sort of like a thing saying. Let me, 1 second. Okay, so there's also this, which is the same. I was just curious to build a variation. Another dust cut, and it basically just says put it all over 1 over and down. So we could look at the so the rising edge. This block is powered. So in the 0 tick, this piston extends, this piston retracts, allowing the rising edge to pass through. So it also instantly depowers the dust to the side. Where was it? Hmm. Right. Yeah. So by the time, so this signal comes through, doesn't it? Yeah, it's just a slightly different look to it. So yeah, on the rising edge, it's going to instantly. Yeah, instantly depowers the dust. But by the time it turns off the output, the block of redstone has arrived. And you can actually see that if you do. I accidentally did this, but you can see there's actually a pulse on the rising edge. It's quite hard to see, but you can. It just is. There's definitely you can definitely see what happens there. But yeah, and then with the falling edge. So yeah, the rising edge. Yeah. So yeah. So it does instantly depower the redstone. Yeah. So when you do the rising edge, I just want to get this. It instantly depowers. Yeah. So yeah. So basically, what it's trying to say for the signal basically takes this gets depowered. So that those two ticks are travelling through on the rising edge, which allow it to go in there, power it, and then as this signal finishes, the redstone block is already in place. And then for the falling edge, it immediately cuts. It immediately cuts the signal, letting the falling edge to pass through. And then by the time the power is going through again, this block has already arrived back in place, basically. Yeah, it arrives back in the block of redstone arrives in its retracted state, tries to power the output dust again, but it also powers the piston above it, and it arrives to cut the output before the repeater can output the signal. So the use of the delay on the repeater is essential in both rising and falling edges. I think I've made that clear. But yeah, thanks for watching.